The world is evolving. When I earlier started podcasting, it was not something that people really bought into, care much about, and all of that. But I made it look like a big deal because it is a big deal. People are signing deals all over the world. Somebody signed a deal, Alex Cooper, she signed a almost $20 million deal with Spotify. We're paying her millions almost every month, just for having conversations and sitting down with people, asking the unconventional questions. Donald Trump won election with podcast. He appeared on Joe Rogan's Experience. Kamala was lobbying to be on that podcast because Joe Rogan had a large audience, and then people listened to the 3-hour conversation of Donald Trump on Joe Rogan's show, and then he won more supporters, and then people went to go and cast their vote because of what he said on that podcast. The election is coming now. I'm asking myself, how am I going to position myself?
Do you think you can bring a politician on your podcast?
Yes, I have questions to ask them that will favor me, favor the general public, and favor them too.
Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Conversations with Ayeni Princess. Today I have an amazing guest in the studio, and this person is a very popular person, especially in the podcast space. I'm actually tempted to say you should guess, but anyways, let me just get right into it. So I have with me here a guest who is a podcast person. I think I am calling him the podcast guy because right now, if you think about podcast, if you're going to mention 1, 2, 3 persons, you're definitely going to mention him. But that is not all that there is, to him, right? He is a podcast host, a master of ceremony, a stand-up comedian. I find that very, very hilarious. Please make welcome to the show, Tolu Afilaka.
Princess. Yes, you did justice actually, because that's why I would have caught you, because if you didn't see as a stand-up comedian, that's actually how people started knowing me, through stand-up comedy, and then I diversified. So it's good to be on your show. I'm happy that we could do this.
Yay! Yes. I brought the podcast man to my podcast.
Podcast guy. I used to think that thing was an insult before.
Really?
Because my guys from comedy, when I started, I was not really doing comedy as much. They used to be like, you don't do podcast now, podcast guy. I have to do what I have to do, and I'm enjoying it, and people are knowing me from it. People are stopping me on the road now, saying that I watch your show. I do. That's how it should be. Good to see you.
Thank you. How are you doing today?
I'm fine. No, I'm fine. I'm happy to be here. Happy to be doing this with you.
Thank you. So, Tolu, when I was researching about you, and I found out that you were a stand-up comedian. It was funny.
Yes. I don't come off as that.
Or maybe because of the way, we met, in a very, very formal setting.
Yes.
Professional.
Yes.
I would say. I can't just see it as somebody that will make me laugh. So when I saw some clips, I was like, okay, yes. Wow. And I was actually laughing. And then I was like, wait, is this the same Tolu? I mean, it was very hard for me to balance that. Anyway, before you the show today, you crack a joke for me. Okay, so, and I also found out that you are an MC.
Yes.
How many things do you do?
A lot of things.
And for some people, it will be like, okay, something that they have done in the past and they no longer do. But you're still doing these things, and you still find a way
to alternate and
balance it, which is very, very, very cool, I must say. So the reason why I brought you on the show today, right, is because I wanted to have a conversation with you that I would tag the mind behind the mic. Because most of the things that you do, you're always with the mic.
Yes.
To host MCN events, you have to talk.
Yes.
Stand-up comedy, you have to talk. Podcast, you have to talk. So I just thought to myself, I really want to know how Tolu thinks, his thought process, and how he does everything that he does. And I spoke to you about it, and then you were like, yeah, let's do it. Yeah. And now we're here. So let's talk about your podcast. That's my time.
Yes.
Right. I saw one interview that you did, and I think before the time, there was no that's my time. We were talking about it, okay, we're going to start the podcast.
Yes.
But looking at what we have right now, and then what you said about it, is very different. Because if I remember correctly, you said you wanted to start a podcast. It will be called That's My Time.
Yes.
And it was supposed to be like a documentary where you bring legends,
comedians.
And you said because you wanted to, sort of preserve the
industry,
stand-up comedy. Because, we don't really have events like all these nights of 1,000
anymore and all those stuff.
So you wanted to
archive it and document it.
But that's my time that we are right now. That's not it. So I think I'm just curious to know, when the switch happened?
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's an amazing question. Yes, and the research you did well. Yes, I said that on channels at that time. That's my time was not on. I was on channels TV, and they asked me all about my project, and I wanted to do that's my time.
Yeah.
That's my time came from God. In 2020, I started a podcast. Interestingly, with my guys, we were doing a podcast because there was COVID, so there was Anchor Pay. Do you understand? I think it's Anchor FM. They're linked with Spotify. So we used to do a podcast called Jokes on You Comedy Club. It's metastasized from Covenant University. We had a comedy club where we used to perform. Myself, Ibuka Mike, Timmy, Ose, and a couple of others. So we said, okay, let's do podcasts because people loved us. Let's appear on podcasts so people listen. And then people started listening. Our listenership was growing. People in their houses were listening to us. We'll be in our houses. We'll just connect online like a Zoom kind of thing, but it's come out as audio, And then people at some point were even behind Trevor Noah on the chat. Yes, because podcasting was not big at that time. I said what I said. It was not even existing. People were just we were at home and all of that. So we're just doing our thing and all that. Interestingly, I even got at that time they were paying because people were not advertising on our podcast. So Stripe paid us about $100, but I didn't give my guys because I was the brain behind it. Yeah, $100 in about 2021. They paid, then they stopped it. They stopped paying Nigerians at the time, So we now stopped the podcasting, and then all of a sudden podcasting blew up. Everybody was doing podcasts and all that, and I felt so bad that why would I leave podcasting? And then in 2021, somehow I was just. Is it 2021, 2022? 2022, I was just on my own and I just heard the voice of God say, start a podcast. It could have come as a thought, but I knew that this was God. Okay. And then I was like, podcast, what will we now name it? And then I just heard that voice, that's my time. So I held that name. So one of the ways I do my things is that once I get it, once I know that I'm supposed to do this thing, I start to say it everywhere I'm going. So when they brought me on Channels TV, I said that was an opportunity for me to say it, because if I say it, I hold myself accountable. And then if I don't do it, people will be able to call me out and say you didn't do this thing. Do you understand? Like you are now. So I said it then that because I was fully in comedy. I had done Alibaba's show. I was doing some other stuff. So I wanted something that could document the story. So if younger comedians were coming up, they could listen to it and be like, oh, this and that. So even in the beginning episodes, I was mostly bringing comedians. I had Forever, Peter, Mayo, Monica, and a couple of other people. At some point, Alibaba was supposed to do it, but he traveled. So I went to one of the people I wanted to invite as a guest, MC Ajele, one of Nigeria's biggest MCs. And then he says, you shouldn't just do it. You shouldn't do a podcast that's only about comedy. Invite other people to the show. Don't box yourself. Don't bracket yourself. And I saw it from a different perspective because I like comedy, but this was really profound. So I said, okay, we're going to try it out. And that's how we started inviting other people, But the base at the time, the foundation would look like I wanted to just have comedians. I might still do it, or somebody else might still do it. But right now it has gone into other things now. So there's no encumbrance to it. It's why I can have anybody and anything. When people started saying like, oh, you're bringing too many spiritual people, and I brought Mami Ota. So it just takes one person to meet me and tell me, I take opinions from people, I take feedback.
Teachable, and then
yes. So whatever you say to me, I go back, I reflect about it, and then I inculcate it, and then yes, it gets the spark. So that's it.
That's really cool. And so when we talk about your guests,
yes,
I'm really curious to know how you select your guests.
Yes.
Say, okay, I want to have this person on my show, and the thought process behind it, like the
Yes.
plan, like do you see someone and say, okay, because this person is an expert in their field, I would like to have them on my show. Like, how do you decide who comes on the show? Is there a reason, or is it random? Okay,
yes. So I first thing, like I posted on my Instagram story one time, I said one of the criteria for me to have you on my podcast is that you must be an interesting person, someone that I like to talk. You don't have to be the most popular, but if I've listened to you talk and I see that this person's wisdom is unique, is different, I will want to always talk to you, and I want other people to know about you or have you as a friend. So one of such people that I try to have him every season is Ebuka Mike. I met him in school. He's a very intelligent guy. His perspective to life, to the faith, to Christianity is very different. And I think that he's one of the wisest people I know in my circle. And then I had to start bringing him to the episode. And every time he comes on the episode, he happens to be one of the most viewed, or people are always talking about it, and it's really always changes life. People randomly stop me and be like, where's Ebuka? They want to, when are you bringing him next, and all of that. So one of the criteria is you must it's someone I like to talk to. Then secondly, you might just have like a unique story, something that is very unique, something that I believe even in your past interviews, the podcasters or hosts have not asked you, or areas that they missed. I'll ask you those questions that I feel like you can answer it, from my own eye and from my own lens. And then also maybe just a little bit of something that the audience will like, someone that the audience would like to see. Sometimes, but most of the time it is someone that I like to have a conversation with. I don't like to have people that I will have friction with, and or first of all, it's meant to be a dialogue. It's not meant to be a monologue. So not that I'm talking and answering the questions. I want to feel and connect with me. So yeah, that's basically how I do it.
So if you say that that's to be somebody that is interesting and then you love talking to, so how is it that because it's not everybody that you know and have a relationship with?
Yes.
So how do you then are able to tell that, okay, this person, I can connect with this person,
Yes,
and I would love to, they will be interesting, and I want to have them on my show?
okay. Firstly, it just takes me listening to one of their interviews or podcasts, and when I see the person, I'm like, this kind of person, our energy flows. I think if we sit down together and we discuss, we'll have a conversation. It will flow. Someone like me now, I'm sorry to see, there are some people I know I cannot talk to, I cannot have a conversation with, because of maybe their ideologies, maybe how they see life and all of that. But once I watch your interviews and I start to see myself asking you some angles that you would like to hear. You understand? And then I now start to read more about you and all of that. Like recently when I interviewed Pastor Laju, she was like, oh my God, you did so much research. Oh. She was happy with it, and it makes the conversation go on. When you sit down with somebody and the person you're talking with the person, and then it's as though you are a fan. The person will just look at you like you're just here to waste my time. Do you understand? So you must do your research and make sure that the person feels like a guest to you and like a friend to you. Yeah, so you're just catching up with your old friend, and that's what to make the audience behind that are watching get engrossed with it. Like when I was interviewing, exactly, when I was interviewing Kemi, I kept on calling her mommy. So you have to make it look like this person, I've known this person for a while, even though you're just meeting them for the first time. You must show as though that there's a relationship, and that relationship comes from after you watching their previous interviews. So you basically become one, and then when you come and sit down, it's a relationship. It's easy.
Cool. So does this mean that everybody that you've had on your podcast has been to at least one interview? Like you've had to hear them talk or say something?
Yes, I've had to hear them speak. I've seen them on their social media, how they relate with people, and then it just flows from there, and I go deeper.
Okay, Tolu. So as I said in the beginning, right, I can call you the podcast man, the podcast guy.
Yes.
Because this is personally my own opinion. If I have somebody that wants to start a podcast or that is just interested in the podcast business, and they come to me and say, Princess, I'll say, but what should I do? First person that will come to my head is Tolu. Not that there are not other people, but first person is Tolu. And I can say that for other people, at least if you mention 3 people in Lagos, podcast, most likely someone will say Tolu.
Yes.
So I just want to know, was that intentional? Like, did you intentionally carve a niche for yourself in podcast, or you just happen to just stumble on it?
No. I try to carve a niche. So the thing is, of course, you're a faith person, I'm a faith person. When God just tells you to go somewhere, you must be ready to go all in. You're not just touching and just dabbling into things. And one thing I've learned from the Westerners, the white people, is that they are consistent. They do their things. They don't just touch and go. All right. So to answer your question, it's carving a niche. Let's say carving a niche. I just wanted to show people the behind the scenes, that this thing is actually work. This is actually an industry. This is actually worth it. Do you understand? Like when I earlier started podcasting, I know you wanted to ask about it, but when I earlier started podcasting, it was not something that people really bought into, care much about and all of that. But I made it look like a big deal, because it is a big deal. People are signing deals all over the world. Somebody signed a deal, Alex Cooper, she signed a almost $20 million deal with Spotify. They were paying her millions almost every month, just for having conversations and sitting down with people and asking the unconventional questions that people would normally answer, and then the world now evolved from radio into podcasting. People sit down in their cars on their way, they're listening to someone and all of that. So I needed people to know that this thing is actually an industry. And Nigeria, because Nigerians have not really gotten it right, there are a lot of nonsense conversations up and down. I wanted to bring in intellectual, mind stimulating podcasts that you can listen to over and over and over and over again, and for me, anytime I have conversations with people always leave and feel better. People always tell me, oh, I enjoy talking to you. So I said, that's good. I think I should start documenting this thing. I enjoy talking to you. I enjoy chilling with you. Nice. They always want to talk to me, even when I was in primary school, secondary school, and all of that. So I felt that it's important to always document conversations and then go back in history and just listen. I like memories, and podcasting was one of those ways to store those memories, store those conversations, so that we can always go back and say, see, I said this thing that year, it's happening now. It's podcasting could be our own Bible. Who knows?
What does that even mean?
It means that in those days, Isaiah was writing things down. People were having books, they were chronicling books. There was Deuteronomy, there are the Torahs and all those things. Podcast would probably be the. I'm not saying it's going to be the Bible, but like it can be a reference point for our children. Our children can go up in future and listen to some of the things that we said.
That far.
Yes. Our children can possibly pick up the podcast and be like, I want to listen to Tolu Afilaka, and just type Tolu Afilaka, and you can start listening to conversations, and then they are getting answers to questions, seeing how we saw the world in the past, seeing how things should be done, how we navigated these things, and then they live their life. So it could be, the world is evolving. So that's what I see it to be in the future.
I mean, I was going to ask you about it, like.
Yes.
Further, down the interview.
Yes, but
this is an interview, like conversation,
question,
right?
Yes.
But since you touched on it, do you think this, because everybody now owns a podcast?
Yes, wants to own a podcast.
Video,
wants to be on a
whether
podcast.
Audio.
Yes.
Some people even have 2 podcasts. Like
Yes.
one person.
I have 2 now.
One person has 2 podcasts.
Yes.
In the next 15 years, do you think podcasts will still be a thing? Now, I'm not talking about world. I'm talking about Nigeria. Do you think it will be a thing?
Yes, podcast is going to be a thing now. So, and for your information, people say that the world were distracted, attention span. In the nearest future, I'm going to make boast to say people are not going to get their attention back. Because people would seek clarity, because the world is going to be very confusing. You will now start to really seek for the truth and seek for deep conversation and deep meanings, because AI is making everything look fake. People don't know the truth from real. So you will now want to listen to people that really know the real, people that put you in order. So instead of the normal 30 minutes conversation, 1 hour podcast, people will listen to podcasts.
Deep.
Yes, deep. People will listen to podcasts of 3 hours. Do you understand? So, and the longer the better for you as a podcaster. So I just think that it's going to be an industry just like radio. Podcasting is the new radio.
Next 20 years, you think we'll say have podcasts?
Yes, we're going to have podcasts. It's just going to evolve into something bigger than what we think it is. Technology will also make it better. Do you understand? I just hope that AI will not start having AI guests and all of that stuff.
AI guests.
People have started doing it now.
How does that work?
I don't have to be in the interview. I can just grab your voice, my voice, put both of us together. But it's going to be a thing. A lot of Donald Trump won election with podcast. He appeared on Joe Rogan's Experience. Kamala was lobbying to be on that podcast because Joe Rogan had a large audience, and then people listened to the 3-hour conversation of Donald Trump on Joe Rogan's show, and then he won more supporters. And then people went to go and cast their vote because of what he said on that podcast. So it's also going to be a decision maker for people in the future. People want to sit down. One of the things about podcasts is that they see you in another light. Not the usual.
So the things that you don't know about.
Yeah, not the usual political.
You get to hear like your own story from you.
Your own lens. Exactly. It's not a media. It's not doctored like, oh, let's let this one go on the news. No, it's very spontaneous. The host can ask you any question, and it's not over the roof. It's a one-on-one. It's intimate. It's you, the host, and your audience. That's it. So I think podcasting is going to really change media in the future. You'll be surprised. Who knows?
Okay.
On my podcast,
I wasn't expecting this answer from
yes.
you.
Who knows? On my podcast, you might see Tinubu. Yes, Tinubu can come.
Yeah, that's sure.
Tinubu might come on my podcast and speak. I'm just saying. Peter Obi can come on my podcast and speak, because they will now start shifting away from media, because now people say the media is biased.
Yeah.
Yes, that these people are reporting this news because they are supporting this party. So they want a neutral person. Do you understand? So I think it's actually something that's going to change media a lot, So yeah, people can even write books from podcast. I can have this conversation with you, and then we can just title a book, the mind behind the mic.
So you're actually the podcast guy, because
I try.
the way you like the when you talk about podcast,
Yes.
and to think that you're thinking about 20 years. Because
Yes,
honestly, I was thinking about it, Nigeria, 20 years podcast, because sometimes, especially in Nigeria, things just come as a trend, and then after a while, it just fade away. But hearing your perspective, I find it interesting. I'm actually curious to see how that pans out.
It's not a trend.
In the future.
It's this is our own archive. Do you understand? Okay. It's our own archive. The people wrote things in the Bible and passed it on to people. This is our own way of writing things to people, letters to people.
Is our own archive. Says
Yes,
Tolu.
yes, podcast is our own archive. Yes, you're right. You're writing letters to people. My children will see this, will listen to this. I'm too shocked. Do you understand? So it's not. We're not wasting time. Bible says in every labor there is profit. We're not wasting time. We're talking. We are sending out narratives to the world. So it's going to be something people will definitely reference and go back in time to listen to, so that they can, make decisions.
Okay. So from what you just said, it just shows that you're building your career towards towards that.
Yes.
Because I was going to ask you at some point, but I think you've already answered it from this explanation.
Yes.
That were you going to retire off of podcast?
No, of course. No. I like having conversations.
Maybe not the word like retired, but if you see yourself doing it like for a very long time. But I would say yes, based on what you just said.
Yes,
am I wrong?
I would. I see myself doing this thing till like maybe I'm in my 80s or 90s, because there will always be conversations. There will always be interesting people to speak, to talk about. That's why podcasting cannot die. It's called podcasting is an art. You're having conversation with people against the normal news, the press, and all of that. So it can't die. There's always something to have a conversation about. So I feel that it can't die. It's not possible. There's a future for it.
Okay, cool. So I actually wanted to talk about one of your episodes.
Yes.
I'm sure you can guess which one.
Which one?
Guess.
Ogbanje.
Yes. And when I saw the trailer,
yes.
When I actually saw it, I didn't know that it was the same Tolu, because I think at the time we're already in communication.
Yes.
But it was like on a formal level.
Yes.
I didn't know that it was the same Tolu online that I've been speaking, because I knew you as Tolu Alashe.
Okay.
So I didn't know that it was the same Tolu.
Yes.
So I'd seen that trailer and I was wondering, like, who is this person? Why did this person bring these people? Like, why? I like no judgment. I just wanted to know like the thought process. Now knowing that it was actually you, Tolu, that you have a Christian audience, you're a faith person yourself.
Yes.
I think I'm just curious to know like how that happened. Like why you decided that these people, they should come on the podcast.
Yes.
Let us hear
have to say
what they have to say.
Okay.
Like, how did that happen?
Okay, so first of all, I have a large Christian audience, faith audience, so our conversations are surrounded around faith and all of that. A lot of people are saying it and all of that. So people are always saying that, you're always having faith people, this and that, pastors, yeah. I said, okay. So I said I'm going to show you guys off balance. And then I remember that I knew these two people. They were Christians before, strong Christians, faith people, tongue speaking. And all of a sudden, on the random days, I see one of my friends, Choma, she's going to the sea to go and appease the gods.
Did you see that on social media?
I saw it on her story.
Oh, okay.
She was taking a tray to go and appease the gods at the beach. I said, wow. I went to her story. I saw Eze Wine. That's like something that sounds like a god or goddess. I said, okay. I see the other one too. She's doing palm reading. She's teleporting, talking about teleportation, talking about energy. I said, wow. How are you guys? I thought that maybe they were just kidding or just joking. They said they are fine. This is what you now believe? They said, yes. Are you open to talk about this in public? Yes. Now, the idea behind it was that a lot of us have heard about demons. I've heard about people worshipping Babalawo, this and that. They believe it's our forefathers. I wanted to bring it to notice of people that
like in this
thing is happening in our age. People believe in this and a strong conviction that if you don't hold your God. So that's why on the podcast, I was not even antagonizing them. I was not asking them. There are questions I could have
We're
asked
just
them to throw them.
listening.
I just say, yeah, I mean, I just they talk, And also, it was for everything that you do. It's part of media. You need to also catch people's attention. So that way, I caught a lot of people's attention. People were
You
now going back
did.
to my older episodes to listen, and then they were now listening to more better conversations. They're like, "Oh my God, you're the one I interviewed Olushola, this and that." So yeah, that was it. And then the next episode I released was another faith person. So I grabbed an audience and I took them back to Christ.
Was that intention? Did you know that you were going to interview like a faith-based person after the episode, and you were going to release that immediately after the episode?
No. So like I bulk record. I can record as many as in a day. I've recorded at some point. I've recorded 6 in a day or 7 sometimes. I'm doing that's on the side. Okay, so we bulk recorded. So after that episode, my production manager was like, "This episode is going to be a banger, but how are we going to release it? How are the audience going to take it? How is this person going to take it? How will these other guests see it?" And I'm also the kind of person I'm like, people will say whatever they want to say. We'll do whatever we need to do. Do you understand? So they now, so we had recorded them in October. We had recorded then a couple of others. Then I had Olushola in November. I had a couple of other people. So I said, okay, let's release Olushola first. Let's release some other ones to test run. Then we just.
So you did actually arrange.
Yes. So I arranged the episode. I said this one will go. Then we'll now release this one. Then we'll go quiet. Then our first episode for the year, we'll hit it. So we always add strategy to everything that we're doing. We sit down as a team. We have our group chat. How we release it in. Because it needs to convert to money. In any way, shape or form. It also needs to. Yeah, there has to be a return from it because we spend money to produce. The studio we stayed was not free and all of that. So we need to grab an attention of audience. And then, for some reason, the my followers grew from at some 10,000 followers in like 4 days. On YouTube, people were just subscribing, listening, watching other episodes, this and that. It grabbed their attention. Do you understand? Some other people saw it as a way of, you're endorsing, but no, it wasn't an endorsement, never, because I can't be bringing them all the time. If you look at it, I'm more of a faith person, but I just needed people to listen and hear that this thing is out in the society, is even out even amongst Gen Zs, and if you don't know your God, these people are ready to school you and all of that. So that was basically it. It was more of a strategy for me and my team.
I mean, on the side, I actually think that every Christian should actually watch that episode with an open mind.
Yes.
With an open mind.
Yes.
Because, I mean, there are a couple of things to learn from that
Have you watched
episode.
it?
Yes, I watched the episode.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was there to watch, I'm like, okay, I don't want to be biased. I don't want to think, no judgment.
No judgment.
Like, with an open mind. And actually, that's why I said every Christian should watch it with an open mind. Because if you do watch it as a Christian with an open mind, you know that you need to push into a deeper level. Like, I need to actually be very deep in my relationship with God. I need to, because you could see those girls with all the things we're saying. They were very convinced, and you could tell that they read so many things.
So much.
So imagine you that believe in.
And these ladies are very intelligent too.
Yeah, I could tell.
First class ladies.
I could tell, like, from the way they were, the words, the terminology. I'm like, so you that you're a Christian, and you know the true living God, it should push you to go and study your Bible.
To study your Bible
and not
deeper.
Just taking only what your pastor say for you. So that's why I said
it even makes you prove and know that there's actually a God. There's a God, so you must follow. If you know you believe in the God of the Bible, you must follow Him deeper and have a relationship with Him. Otherwise,
and you should also be able to not just believe Him for yourself, but be able to talk about Him to people. I think for some of us, right, that's one thing that we may not necessarily do. Some people, they know God for themselves, but not necessarily, because they will tell you, I don't need to be convincing people. But if you watch that episode, you will know that you actually need to know some things, like know things enough to be able to defend your
people.
conviction. So,
because those people know things. Those people know things. So at some point they were telling me some things I've not even read. So for someone like me that reads a lot, I was surprised that they were telling me some things I've not read, and I had to do some research, and I realized that some of the things were not really true. But anyways.
So you guys can watch that episode. Yes. I feel like when I saw it, it was actually a charge for me.
Yes, and it was a
charge.
It was interesting.
I need to even read and study more, know this Bible very well.
They will bring up things. Yes.
Yeah. So I think another question I want to ask regarding that particular episode is, after the release of the episode, was there any awkwardness? Like, for example, did anybody reach out to you personally? Because I think I read a couple of comments that they were mean. Did anybody reach out to you personally? Like, Guy, why did you bring those people? You don't know
People
what
were
you're
calling
doing.
me, they were calling me from everywhere. Pastor Nelson, yeah, Guam, the mature ones that know me know that I was not really there. The mature ones that know me know that I was not trying to endorse them or do anything. But Pastor Nelson called me, was like, where did you see these girls from? I told him where I saw him from. He said that if truly that they are bad Joe, that if he catch them, if he lay hands on them, they will roll on the floor. And we were just having a good laugh. Some were trying to call me. I was declining some calls that
Because you knew what.
yes, and I'm very emotionally intelligent. I know what you want to say. So if you cannot just be mature and cool about it, let's not talk. So, but then people were doing comments. A lot of people were sending me messages. Oh, I enjoyed this episode.
Yeah.
Some pastors were telling me that, this episode was
You have to be
interesting.
open-minded
Yes,
to enjoy
some
that
people were like, oh my
episode.
god, I had a good laugh because it was funny. The things they were saying. And all of that. So, of course, the backlashes will always come, and I've just learned to, like I said, receive criticism and know how to work things better. So, some of them are telling me in the comments and YouTube comments that get somebody that is more knowledgeable as a Christian, and I'm looking forward to that. And
Yes. Because I was going to ask about. I think his name was Joshua.
Yes.
Is it Joshua?
Mhm.
Yeah. I was going to ask you that. How did you feel like after the episode? Because I mean, I also saw the comments. People were saying, "Oh, he was not man enough to defend our
Yes.
faith and all of that." But I felt like, I don't know, but I was thinking that, okay, what if I was Tolu? Why would I have brought Joshua?
Okay.
Because I'm like, I don't think I would want to bring like a pastor into that kind of conversation because it wasn't supposed to be like formal. It was just like,
Yes.
youth just talking.
Okay, so the thing is,
and all of that.
Josh, if Joshua has always been a guest on some of my podcasts. Well, one thing I like about Joshua is, as a podcast host, your number one thing is not to antagonize. You are a listener first.
Listen, okay.
The level at which you listen is what makes your conversations beautiful. You get is when you listen, be able to ask the right questions. And I like Joshua because he's also a very curious person.
Yeah.
Yes, so he's not somebody Joshua is actually schooled in the faith, but he's very ignorant about the things of the world.
Yeah, he didn't know that
Yes.
some of those things.
So some pastors
were
call me,
in
I'm like,
existence.
never ever bring Joshua. What is Joshua? They fight for that chair, So I didn't want someone that would come and be attacking them. So I wanted them to speak.
Yes, if they were actually attacked, you wouldn't have gotten that enough information. Like,
So I wanted them to be like, tell me something, Joshua. And I like the way Joshua was giving me the facial reaction. That was his role, and he played that role perfectly. Do you understand? Sometimes I sit down with myself and I envision these things. How do I want it to come out? And it come as much as where I will sit, where the other person will sit. I envision it properly, and then it comes out that way. So Joshua being there, a lot of people
really shocked and surprised.
Yes, he was shocked.
And he could not hide it. Like his face was giving him.
He was
like
he was like, what exactly are these people talking about? But I just tell him to also know that these things are more beyond film. They happen in our reality, and at the end he said, he was asking, do you read palms? And there's a point where he said, because Joshua is actually prophetic. I've known him since school, Covenant University.
Okay.
So he's actually prophetic. So the lot of ladies now with him said it to him that Joshua, you're actually clairvoyant. That means you can see.
I actually have a lot of things to say about I think the Chioma get one way.
Yes.
I don't know if something I can say on the
Say
podcast,
it.
but I mean all the things, because she talked about her childhood, right, and a lot of things, and I just feel like, imagine this person growing up in a Bible believing
Yes.
house. If her
Her
parents,
gifts.
both of them, that's prophetic
Yes, her
gifts that
gifts.
she had. That
Her gifts
we're
are
now like,
yes.
I don't know.
That messed up by the
I
world.
was really vexed when I was watching
Yes.
it, because she was describing some things. I'm
Yes.
like, this girl is like, if she had like parents that were like Bible believing,
Yes.
not Christian and just go to church.
Yes.
These are things that she would have developed and become like
Nobody was there to help her nurture her
Yes,
gift.
nobody. And then that's why I said that podcast, I actually learned a lot of
Yes.
things. As parents, your
Yes.
job is very, very important.
Important
Because
in raising your
one
kids.
thing I also noticed from both of the
The ladies.
ladies, their parents were not strong Christians. Yes,
Yes.
they could not defend a lot of things.
Yes.
They could not give them answers.
Yes.
And as humans, we are very, very curious
Yes.
beings. We need to know why.
Yes.
They could not give them that answer, and that was what I would say, my opinion, pushed them to start looking for all these things. If both of them had strong parents,
Yes.
Bible believing parents that actually like know and understand convictions, right? Not just what pastors have said. Those both. Imagine Chioma be like a prophet, and then what's the other woman?
Front.
Being an evangelist.
Yes.
when she was talking, I was just say, see this one, evangelist, mashing.
And they're very coherent. They speak so well and all of that. So if they,
well.
I know eventually at the end of the day they're going to be
they will come
going to
back.
be
So
listening.
that one that they are
People have
doing.
reached out to them. People are texting them. People are talking to them. People are sending them
Imagine Francis
messages.
be an evangelist and
Yes.
talking about Christ.
It's-
Everybody wants to
It's
hear.
eventually happen. But what I just need to let the public know is that these things deal.
Yeah.
In case you don't know,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
know now, because don't be ignorant and think that everybody they are sitting out with you. Some people
Yeah,
people reached out to me. You know how many people have reached out to me? You know how many people have reached out to me? I'm talking about native doctors, but I just said no. I don't do things because I just want to do it.
No, wait. They want to come on the show.
To come and talk, I said I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Jesus.
You know, because I know that them Choma and their friends they have not really gone deep. That's why I can sit down with them. I can't entertain everybody, you know, and I still do things.
And that's like a one-off.
Yes, if at the last minute God told me do not push the episode out, I will not push it out. Do you understand? So I still listen to the instructions from God and all of that. You know, at the end of the day, Fran and Choma are God's children. They were in church, and I hope that God will find them back in church. But my own is that I've never ever attacked them. You know, it's always been love from me. I always check up on them. I always ensure that they see Christ in me and what he represents. So
Hold on.
thank you.
Yeah, let's talk about money.
Yes.
Money in podcasts. I know that you said something about, and I think an American podcaster
Yes.
have made millions.
Yeah, Spotify deal.
Yeah. Let's talk about Nigerian podcast landscape. Do you think it's a profitable one?
For now, it's not very, very profitable. Now, except maybe your YouTube is monetized, you have sponsorship deals and all of that. So when I started podcasting, I had to go and watch. I do a lot of research. Most of my free time, I'm always researching how are other people doing it and how can I do it better. You know, at some point there was a lady called Madam Joy. She was doing so well in the UK. So I was listening to some of her stories and all that. She would say that I think it was on Twitter. She said she would ask some of her friends to borrow her money so that she can shoot episodes. She'll shoot it with one camera, the audio will be bad and all of that. I said, I don't have anybody that will help me. I remember that I had some friends in diaspora, you know, they've always believed in me because I was doing comedy. They liked me. They paid for my shows when I was in school. So I told them I want to start this podcasting thing, you know, how you see this and that. They will send me money. You know, so with the money, someone can send me 150, and now can send me 100k. I gather the little money that I have together. I'll call one of my editors and videographers that believes in me, say how far, and then like that we'll just be going around. Then I didn't even have any studio, you know. I'll just most of the time I go and shoot it in the house of my guest. If earlier episodes I will go, if you go and check my earlier episode, you see me. I was going to everybody's house to go and shoot, you know, and it was not very easy, but you know, God just kept telling me go. God will keep telling me, ask this person for money. I'll ask and they'll give me money, 60k sometimes. I'm saying this on camera. I can list them. Few beds, Quadri,
Do you have to?
Everest.
Okay,
I'm
give
saying
them
that
their
because
flowers.
yes, I'm giving them their flowers because now it's a big deal and they are very happy for me. Imagine I gave up. Do you understand? You know, so I'll ask them and they'll take me around. And my photographer, my videographer, I could not pay them their rate then, you know, but all this thing I'm saying is just a short time, just 3 years ago now. So, but I was determined that this thing would, my YouTube set was maybe on 4K. 4K, what am I saying? Maybe 3,000 subscribers. But I know there is a goal in this thing. Do you understand? So I tried and I started looking for ways to monetize the YouTube. So I just kept on posting. Okay, I now cross my watch hours like that. So one of my major ways of making money is obviously from monetization.
Yeah.
Good. Now people have started paying me to interview them.
Wait,
Yes.
really?
Yes.
Like to come on That's
My
My
show,
Time podcast.
yes. Because podcast is a way of PR. So somebody had a book, she had a book launch. She wanted to push out her book to the public, let people see her book, you know, and know about her, know her story. She was doing podcast rounds. She asked some people around her PR person. She was like, what podcast can I go to? Blah, 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 blah. That is faith-based and all of that. She was like, okay, Tolu Afilaka's podcast. They came, how much? And I billed them. My manager negotiated with it. And she paid me to interview her. And it was like
Did you
I don't
release
know
the
her. I didn't even know
episode? Did you
her.
release the episode?
Yes, now.
So it means that we must have even seen the episode.
Yes,
We
you
didn't know
didn't
that
know.
it was paid.
You didn't know. I don't want to mention the name of the
You
episode.
don't even need to.
Yes, I don't need to. So, but you would know. Yes, I even released some of the reels this year because I didn't like the push out of how it went, So like she came and all of that. Podcasting is a way of PR. True Day has been doing podcast rounds recently.
Yeah. Yeah.
About his books.
Yeah.
You have been seeing him on a lot of podcasts.
Yeah.
That's PR now. He was going around podcasts. It's PR rounds. People do that. The election is coming now. I'm asking myself, how am I going to position myself?
Do you think you can bring a politician on your podcast?
Yes, I have questions to ask them.
Okay.
Yes, I have questions to ask them that will favor me, favor the general public, and favor them too.
So you don't even mind having it?
I don't mind having every conversation is important. That's what people don't know. If you look at our Bible, there was nothing that was hidden in the Bible.
So
they spoke about everything. There's no sentiment. I'm not supporting, but I'm asking you questions. Why is our country like this? Why are you taxing us and we don't have good roads yet? Why don't we have light in the 25th, 22nd century? Ask them deep questions and they know that you're intelligent. Why is Tinubu why you think Tinubu is the way? Ask them questions. That's what it will drive views for you as well. It will change the narrative for people. People will understand things better, and then it's also favor them as well because they are pushing out the information to the public. So yes, you can make money from that. Merchandise, you can sell a shirt, on your YouTube. If your YouTube is monetized, you can put merchandise, sell shirts online. You can write a book. Many things. Sponsors can come and say they want to advertise their stuff on your show. I have sponsors that have come and say they want to put their drinks on my show. Let me just be sipping the drink, and then that's all, and they pay. Do you get? So it's just like a TV show. You get? So those are the ways to make money. And then there's a new one, podcast live shows. You have a live show, you rent a venue, you sit down and have a live conversation like this on stage, and people are in the audience listening to you.
Cool.
And then they buy tickets. And happily ever after. I said what I said, did one last year. They sold out in Abuja and Lagos.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I should even do a live show this year. I should. I don't know.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll definitely.
If my podcast hits 100k views today, I'll do a live show. Yes. And then other people will now start calling you to consult. Like you met me officially, formally for Cafe One.
Yeah.
That was how they met me. I mean, by the way, I didn't study media or broadcasting. I studied civil engineering.
I know.
So this is something I just do from instruction or just free will and something I enjoy doing. So people now started consulting me on, okay, how do I start? How do I do this? One of my family friends who met me is a doctor. He said that he wants to start podcasting. He wants to be talking to the camera and interviewing people. I'm like, wow, interesting. Okay. You get? So people will call you as a consultant. So your work is all encompassing. Now I consult for people. Do you understand? I'll tell them the camera to use. I write their scripts, tell them questions to ask. I help them edit their video. Say, you release this one, push this one out. This one will go viral. This one will do this. This is how you brand yourself. This is what you should name the show. I teach people how to use AI to do their stuff. Right now, I don't do anything. Before I used to write when I shoot am I talking too much?
No.
when I shoot a podcast and the podcast is ready, I'll watch the episode and I'll be writing the things I said. I'll type it out and then I'll type out my description. Now there are AI tools.
Right.
Yes, I upload my stuff on. Oh God, I'm divulging so much secrets.
Please divulge.
I upload my stuff on an AI app. It gives me the transcript. I run it on ChatGPT. It generates my description. Yes, generates my title, and I have my keywords. Push it out. Everything. YouTube is AI. It works with AI. So you put AI to AI. Let them be battling themselves. God will do the rest. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's it. So I do all of that for people. I can't believe I can't be discussing. Well, working with Cafe One is because of it.
Yeah.
So they have seen the success of what I've done, and they said, "Please come and do it for us too." And that's how I entered here. So
from doing your own thing,
yes,
to now becoming a platform builder.
Yes.
Because I can actually say that you're a platform builder. Because
yes.
I see what you're doing.
Even Honest Bunch, I say people don't know that this thing where they do that, it don't become industry, because even Honest Bunch, Glitch Africa, that do Honest Bunch, I've consulted for them now. I used to consult for them. They reach out to me sometimes to help them get guests, to help them they're doing one old show. So I do all these things. That's why my parents worry, because I've not done. This is not what they send me to school to go and study. So how am I? But the Bible says the wind blows where it listed. You don't know where it's coming or where it's going. So is every man that's born of the Spirit. So your ways is past finding out. People do not understand. That's how you are as a spirit child.
Okay, cool stuff. So I wanted to actually ask about your guests.
Yes.
I don't know if something I can even say like
I can say it. There's something.
you don't even know what I want to ask you yet. So like you've actually interviewed a lot of
Great minds.
like dignitaries.
Yes.
And I checked like your episode. I'm like, Tolu, how do you get these people? Is it because you go for events? Because you're also a lot of ceremony. So I'm like, is this like an added advantage because you get to meet people?
Yes.
And then stand-up comedian,
Yes.
them laugh.
No, it's not even like
I'm like,
that.
how do you get? Because the thing is, for example, me that I'm just starting as a. Can I come and share a podcast? Anyway,
You are.
I have this this show. I'm like, there are a lot of people that I want to speak to, and I don't exactly like
have a relationship with them.
A relationship to, and how do I reach out
to them?
To those people.
Good.
How do you get your guests?
Good, excellent. So this is the beautiful thing. It's not like about comedy. It's not all about all of that. Now let me explain something. If you send out 100 messages. You show me say 10 people will reply you out of those 100. So at the point when I started podcasting, I just did send message. I would just send message to everybody. Yes.
Cold emails, or what do they call that?
Yes, cold emails. Let me tell you something. People are not as busy as you think. That's just what you know.
So don't think for them. Let them be the one to say no.
Yes. And what's the worst thing that they can say is no, I'm not available. Do you understand? People. I've studied human psychology a little. People also want to feel important. Anything that make them feel important. If you say I want to interview, you want to be interviewed. Do you understand? So, but that aside, so I was just sending messages to people, and I started getting yes. Oh, I'm not free. Yes. And then before I knew anything, I'd gotten already 12 people already. And that's 12 is
and
already
then it's
a
now
season.
easier for you to get maybe that person that said no.
Yes.
If they see maybe one of their friends or someone they know came on your show.
That's what I'm saying. So out of those people, they see one person, they're like, this is interesting. Do you understand? I had Pastor Laju now. It's not be hard for me to have Pastor Irene.
Right.
Do you understand me? And then she enjoyed the conversation. She enjoyed this thing.
It was an
interesting conversation. Her husband even collaborated with us at some point on the episode. That's how, and when it's not be difficult for me to now pitch myself and say, oh, Pastor Laju, can you help us get Pastor on the show? I want to talk to him. She'll just tell him.
I'm knowing that you didn't even put her in a bad light.
Exactly.
It's
not difficult. How did Olushola has always heard about me. That's one thing. You have to just keep going, keep doing your thing. Those people are saying you don't just know. Do you get somewhere around here, wherever we are? When I walked up to him and I said, oh, sir, I'd love to speak to you. I think you're one of Nigeria's greatest minds and all that. I said, I know you. I've watched you.
Wow.
What episode was Olushola's episode? Do you understand? So it has a ripple effect. Do you get? They see you with this person, they'll be like, oh my God, you identify with this person, we connect. Oh, I want to do this with you too. So, and then sending DMs is very important. I learned that I didn't learn it from them, because I was watching an interview yesterday, Diary of a CEO. I was listening to one of their brand managers. So she said that they were sending messages to 1,000 people.
So you think of somebody that you like to have on your show,
yes,
and you send them a DM or an email,
yes,
and then expecting them to say yes or no.
Yes, before I came here, I was working. I have because I already batch recorded 12 episodes 2 weeks ago. So I was working, and I already have like 48 people I want to send messages to today. It was on my
So what
on
if
my
all
sheet.
the 48 people say yes?
Oh, 48 people say yes. We'll shoot them. Or just create a system and say, okay, this is the time. Then there's another thing to now start managing their schedule. Jesus Christ, that thing is a lot. You have to be. I like to say this. I'm an ambivert. Like I'm selectively outside. I choose when I want to be outside. I'm also a very reserved person. I don't like to talk.
You don't like?
Yes, I wanted to even answer that in the beginning. That
you don't like to talk.
You
don't like to talk. How are you now doing all these things?
I don't know. I don't know how God created me. I don't know how God created. Sincerely speaking, I'm a very shy person. So when I do comedy too, it's a mix of my personality. Do you get? So I think most of the time when I'm shy and I'm reserved, I am looking and incubating my environment. So when I come out, I'm just saying everything that I have incubated in my mind. So with guests, I reach out to as much people as I can. I have them, like now I know that I have 6 people that are willing to come already. And then I know that pushing every episode that you push out, there's a ripple effect. Ayo Akinola, I released this episode, Piggyverse, yesterday.
Yeah, sorry.
Today.
I think I'm a fan at this point.
it's okay. Today, his co-founder, Terry Kanu, is one of the co-founders in Piggyverse. He followed me. He has seen Ayaka. Like I can text him in the nearest future and say, "That far boss, I want to speak to you too." Do you get? So there's a ripple effect. But if you stop planting the seeds, it will be difficult for you. That's just the truth. If you stop releasing, if you stop putting out your stuff, it's be difficult. It's be difficult for you. Do you understand? Like when you interviewed Pastor Dolapo, you get there's a ripple effect towards it. You don't just and then there's always someone that knows somebody.
Well, did that give me like an edge in some way?
Yes.
Saying that I'd done like an interview.
Let me tell you something. In anything you do, as regards, especially media, you have to be very strategic. Do you understand? If you want to put your voice out there, so it gave you an edge. Do you get? Then it's not what you do with it that really matters. Do you understand? That we'll talk about that. All those ones behind outside. Yeah, it's not. I can't say the principles here. Yes, but there's always somebody that knows somebody that you can always reach out to. You know.
Just keep doing your thing.
Yes, that's the thing. Keep doing your thing, and then even in your own circle, there's always a star that you have or you know. Bring that star
leverage
too.
On that
yes,
person.
bring that star too. You know, I have a couple of people, and there's some people that will say no. Simi Soya was supposed to come on my podcast. I think that's my close friend, but tight. I used to host her I used to host her parties for her and her friends, but for some reason, said she could not come because there are some controversies that were happening at the time. You know, but now that she's married now, she says she's going to come. You get. There are some people that might not come, but the ones that want to really come, make sure that the episode you do so well with it. Then sponsor your podcasts. Push it out. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money, but I can assure.
The fact that you don't make this money like immediately.
When I show you my YouTube backend for Kevin Odepo's episode, you will take it serious.
Please, I would like to see it before I go.
Okay.
But really, I mean, this is very expensive. We've been talking about like a lot of things.
Yes.
Like behind the scene, you have to pay like editors, book space, all those kind of things. Like. Do people really support like say startup? I mean, young podcaster like
yes, they don't support young, but they are watching you.
So you still have to look for a way to source
they are every. I would like to just tag this part in being how to be strategic, and you definitely make your money back. Like I said earlier, in every labor there is profit. You are not wasting your time. There's no time that you are wasting. You think that you just go to watch you and you just sat down, wear suits, we're talking like this. We're not wasting our time. Do you understand? So, at some point, like I told you earlier, I want to write a book. I'll write a book. Some of these guests I've had before, I invite them for the book launch. That's a way of making money. It doesn't have to come back from this podcast. Sometimes I get messages from people that I don't know. I got a message from someone in Tanzania saying that, oh my God, this podcast blessed me. That alone is enough. You know, a man's life is not constantly abundance. Yes, of things he possesses. You know, fulfilling purpose enough is payment. However, you also need to eat. You also need money to come back to you, so you can put it back in the business, the podcast business, and so that it can generate more. So I think you just have to keep being innovative, keep finding better ways to do things, keep finding better ways to grab attention. People like watching, listening to things. So make sure that the conversation is interesting enough for people. So always come back, and make sure that if you have YouTube, make sure your YouTube is monetized. Open as many YouTube as possible.
Okay.
Podcast. Dario with CEO has Dario with CEO shorts. Dario with CEO clips. These people. Sean Ryan has Sean Ryan.
Before you start opening like so many of them, you start with one.
Yes, you start with one now. You get your audience. Yes. But if you have more income streams from it, it will help you. Do you get? I have a That's My Time clips page. I have a That's My Time clips page. We are posting. So I'm growing the page to posting. Views start coming on the page, and I think that's basically the way to make money from it. And then you also get popular. People trust you. People have called me to come and host their events because they've seen me talk on podcast. Like, this guy speaks well. People trust you. You're building your reputation. And then when people see you with successful people, great minds, they tend to trust you. They tend to believe in you more. So there's a lot.
Yeah. Thank you. This has been an interesting conversation. I mean, I knew it was going to be interesting, but I didn't know that I was going to have like this much fun. And I've actually learned a couple of things.
Seriously, it was fun.
Yeah. That I can actually apply to my own like podcast as well. So I'm really grateful to you.
Your podcast has a lot of potential. No, I was telling you, okay, but I can't. I said we'd sit after camera.
Yeah, yes. I'm really grateful to you for coming on this show. But before we go, I want you to crack a joke.
Crack a joke?
Yes.
You joke out to people crack that.
Better not crack fact the one I've heard before because I
Okay.
went to listen to all your jokes.
I don't know if you've heard this, so, but like I feel like Nollywood is really dropping our IQ, and it's really disturbing me.
Okay.
I was watching a movie and then they wanted to do flashback to 1964, post-independence.
I've heard it. I think I've heard it. Let me confuse.
What?
POS.
I saw a guy do POS.
I saw it. I don't remember what, but I said I was like,
And
okay.
behind, Tinubu was doing renewed hope. Tinubu will never come Nigeria. So yeah, I should say more.
Yeah, but I feel like you would say the ones that I've.
Yes, now I would say my trusted jokes. I can't be saying the new ones now.
Can't you form something on my show and then
your
make
show?
us laugh? Yes, I want an original.
An original. Do you know that's that you're not interviewing me as a comedian, you're doing it as a podcast. Do you know that I can bring my comedy book? I write my joke or write like sit down and write. So it's not something that you just.
Maybe
But I did about spontaneity now. I came first in Lagos, so I can actually come up with jokes on the spot. But I think I'm a bit rusty. Podcasting has been taking my time, but I'm back in comedy clubs from next week. Yeah, so if you want to see me do comedy, come
where?
Comedy clubs all around Lagos now. JJC, Laughter Cave. Come to Laughter Cave, Ikoyi Plaza, or JJC. Elito Gabi, Adeola Odeku. But yeah, the Nigerian, they're dropping our IQ, man. It's really painful.
But they are trying these days, anyways. They are improving.
And in the movie, the painful part is that the guy is still giving receipt. Imagine. And it was black and white too.
They didn't pick it back. Sure, they didn't.
It was not a real movie. It was obviously a joke. It never happened.
No. Like I've seen some, not exactly what you said, but something like that. Yes. Flashback, and then you see something that didn't exist in that year.
Angel with tattoo.
So I think that was why that joke was funny because it was relatable. Yes.
Nollywood. Angel with tattoo.
Thank you so much, Tolu. This has been.
Thank you, Princess. Yes, I just want to say you're doing an amazing job. And it's not very easy, starting, but it's good. I especially loved Pastor Akpo's conversation and the fact that a lot of blogs are picking it up so that they could use, and it only gets better from here. You've had Pastor Dolapo, you've had Amazing Minds, you've had me.
Tolu.
Yes.
Tolu is here.
Yes, I said now you've had me. Yeah, I believe, and it only gets better. Yeah, parts of the just shines brighter onto the perfect day.
Thank you so much.
I would love to come again.
Yeah, I'll definitely bring you again.
Great job.
Yeah. Thank you so much, guys. This has been such an interesting episode. I'm sure that you enjoyed this conversation as much as I did. Make sure to comment. Let me know what you think of this episode. Like and subscribe to the channel. See you. Bye.